Hi guys, welcome to this super cozy corner of my flat. I realized that I was filming all my videos sitting on the couch, like in the same position, but slightly different, and I'm getting kind of tired of the background of my thumbnails, so I thought, why not film in this cozy little nook? Um, anyway, I kind of wanted to go a bit old school and just have a little bit of a discussion, pose some questions. Hopefully, we can talk about potential solutions or something in the comments. So, do let me know what you think about this. This is definitely not a one sided conversation. I'd like to hear your opinions. But yeah, so I was just wondering, well, okay, so I basically have these two narratives running parallel in my mind, and they are seemingly in opposition, and I'm just wondering if there is a way to reconcile them that is satisfying, that is perhaps balanced. Maybe they're the yin and the yang of each other. I'm not quite sure. Obviously, as I'm sure you've gathered so far. Basically, one of the narratives is the standard kind of status quo, kind of wanting to be successful by societal standards, wanting to get things done, wanting to reach towards your goals, having ambitions, setting goals, working towards them, and kind of this the whole like bullet journal culture, which I am definitely a part of these days. I actually started a bullet journal about 6 months ago, and I definitely I felt it. Like I definitely felt the urge to do more and accomplish more and tick things off of my to-do list and set kind of long-term goals and short-term goals and all of this kind of stuff. And it got very overwhelming, and I definitely have a tendency to just be an ambitious person in general, and I end up, I guess, burnt out. And I try to follow my own advice, which is like take breaks and relax and don't put all of your eggs in one basket and don't feel like a failure when you're not doing anything, and you don't need all of this stuff to be a person who is worthy of love and worthy of calm and worthy of good self-esteem and all of this stuff. But it's easier said than done, and obviously being ambitious is kind of what the capitalist system wants us to be. It wants us to continuously be working at something, trying to sell ourselves or sell a product or just work towards the commodification of everything. And it's kind of difficult to step out of that. It's difficult to be grounded, and that's where the second alternate narrative comes in, and the one that I feel like I can't fully reconcile with the first narrative, which is the narrative of enlightenment, of being at one with yourself rather than doing, of just being and being still and being content and being loved and loving and just being, like, straight up, no to-do lists, no expectations, no ambitions, no feelings of success or failure, just being outside of that. And when I managed to tap into those to that mindset, and when I managed to step back from all of the things that socially we're expected to do, and like, for example, being a student, like I'm on a gap year at the moment, and I was a full-time student at Royal Holloway, the University of London, studying philosophy, and I decided not to jump straight into my master's as a lot of my peers did. And I felt really good about that decision at first, and prior to making that decision, I definitely felt like that was intuitively like the best decision I could have made for myself, because I was experiencing a lot of anxiety and just pressure from my academic workload. I felt like it was so much, and I couldn't fully I couldn't do anything outside of that. Like third year for so many students in the UK is the year where you're not only battling with a workload, but you're battling your own mind, because you feel such a pressure to complete your tasks and to do as well as possible, and it's the year that counts the most, and you end up neglecting a lot of the things that make life worth living, such as, interpersonal relationships, self-care practices, things that just bring you joy. Like for me, playing guitar is something that I really enjoy, whether or not I feel like I'm very good at it in certain moments. Singing is even more so that for me, because I really don't feel like I'm very good, but I just enjoy it. It's just nice to have the ability to just sing a tune, and all of that stuff. I don't think I touched my guitar or sang for like 6 months at the end of my last year at university. And it was something that I really loved, and I had to rediscover this year during my gap, my year of like reconnecting with myself and trying to make peace with not being someone who always has to be doing something to feel worthy and to feel validated and to feel like I am a decent member of my society. And so I think we've gotten a bit off track. There's essentially these two opposing, or seemingly opposing narratives. One that tells you you have to keep doing, you have to work towards things, you have to be part of a system that is constantly churning away and is constantly moving forward, progressing, whatever that means, like whether or not that is actually the best for our environment and for our mental health and well-being and for other creatures who live on the planet Earth. Who knows? It seems not to be the concern of most people. And then there's this other narrative where it's like, you are just fine. You don't have to participate. It's perfectly okay for you to just be you and just be, and not have any kind of feelings of having to tie your identity or tie your self-worth to your work, essentially. And yeah, I just find myself on this year, which has really been really awesome at times, like really, really exactly what I needed in some moments, and then at other times the most deep and dark and pitiful dread, like existential anxiety that I've ever felt, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have no idea. There's no guidebook, there's no rule book for what is okay and what isn't. I'm really lucky that I am supported by my family, and so I don't need to have a job to feed myself, to pay my rent. But then again, I've got all this time on my hands, and all of my friends are still at university, or they're doing their masters, or they have had to move back to Egypt. And I'm just kind of here in this limbo state of like, I'm trying to be at peace. I'm trying to like really walk the path of an enlightened person, without sounding pretentious. Like, I do want to work towards that for the rest of my life. The yogic path, the path of mindfulness and meditation, I really feel like that's beneficial, and it's really helped me be more centered and take better care of myself, and be there and show up for myself, and then be able to, as a consequence, show up for other people in my life, and I believe be a good friend, and be a good sister, and be a good daughter, and all of these things. So I think there's a lot of value in this alternate path, but then it's like so lonely and difficult and empty, in a way that the capitalist like work, 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 consume, 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 produce, produce, produce system isn't, because it's distracting. And the other thing is, like, can you be doing both? Like, is it possible to be productive and enlightened? Like, essentially, the whole question can be summed up in that. And I don't know. I feel like there are days when I am living my best life. Like, I wake up, I do my yoga practice for the day, I play guitar, I go out, I go like take a walk on the beach, I call my family, I read some books, I reflect a little bit, I write, maybe I watch some Netflix, maybe I check in on my friends. End of day, you know, like the day will have passed me by and will have been a really, really good day. And then there are other days when I wake up and I just scroll through social media and I see all of this stuff that other people are doing, and I feel so like unworthy. I feel like, I feel small. I feel like tiny. I feel like I'm not doing or living up to an imagined version of myself that is like better than me, that is more capable of like having a social media presence and like posting on Instagram, like, and sharing my poetry, and you know, like going out and doing open mic nights like in the real world. And I don't know, like sharing music that I've written, even though like music is like a hobby for me and I don't want to make it into something that is like bigger than it is in a way. Like I just don't want to commodify the one of the only things in my life that I can like retreat into and almost save myself from the existential dread through. But it's like that other voice in my head that's telling me like, no, but you should be doing that. You should be doing everything in your power to become like, you know, relevant. And it's like, what does that even mean? And then like beyond relevant, we can talk about like the political side of things, where it's like I don't feel like I'm a particularly good citizen. Like I don't feel like I'm a bad citizen, but I don't feel like I am giving back as much as I can be giving back. And like as a citizen of the world, I feel like I have generally like a positive impact on the people around me in my life. Like I feel like I'm not a negative energy, and like that's kind of enough. Or that's what, you know, the voice that's like at one with the world says. But then there's another part of me that's like, I should be going to Extinction Rebellion protests in Brighton, and I should be, you know, campaigning for a better future, and I should be volunteering more, and I should be, you know, like doing all of this stuff. But even just thinking about like half of the stuff that I want to do, it drains me so much sometimes, and like it's so exhausting trying to keep up with everybody else, and like not comparing myself to everybody else, and trying to like just be okay, like on a daily basis, just be okay with where I'm at now. It's so difficult, and I just don't know which voice to listen to, and if it's possible to be listening to both and to find like a happy balance between them. So yeah, that got like personal. But I mean, I'm being as honest as I can, and it's a question that I'm wondering about. Like I genuinely want to know what you guys think, and if you feel the same way, if you relate. Like, what do you do to help you live as enlightened of a life as you can, while somehow also adhering to the capitalist system that we all participate in? I don't know. I don't know the answer. And I think that I'll always be questioning this for as long as I live in the city and I haven't like retreated into the mountains to actually become a monk. Like, I think I'm going to be struggling with this question. But any reflections, any ideas you guys have in response, I'd really love to hear it in the comments down below. And yeah, just thank you for watching and listening, and I hope that you're okay out there. Whatever you're going through, just remember, you are worthy, you are just as worthy as someone who's doing 10 times more as you. Okay, that's it. I don't know how to end this coherently. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.